Greetings, app developers, or perhaps this week I should say hello world, because that's what we're doing this week. We're going to do some hello world development. The first thing you're going to need to do this week is open up Android Developer and follow the instructions on this simple tutorial that is creating an Android project. What this is going to show you how to do is just make the most simple Android project, and it's actually one that it does all the heavy lifting for you, where you just go through the steps that you would go through to create a new project, and it creates a hello world activity. It'll show you the layout of Android Studio that you've already installed on your computer, and just give you an experience of what it's like to go into the environment and work on something. Okay, so that's the first thing I want you to do this week, is just follow through on this tutorial that I will place a link to, and I'd like you to take a screenshot of what you create. I would show you me doing this on video, but what I found is that Android Studio crashes my screen capture software. So I've actually done it a couple of times, and I haven't been able to save those videos. So instead, you're just going to have to go through it following these tutorials. I'm telling you, it's easy. If you just follow the instructions, it's fine. The most challenging thing about it is if your computer crashes or you have trouble with that sort of thing. Really, the big thing is you create the Android project here, right? And then the next screen is running your application, okay? Running on a real device is probably your best bet if you have an Android device, okay? And you could just go through these tutorials and do that. The emulator is tough stuff. I've had that work. I've had it crash my machine. The emulator, every year when I do this in class, people have fits with the emulator. I'd like you to give it a go. And try and run it on the emulator. If that doesn't work out for me, for you rather, just let me know, and that's not a problem. What I would like you to do is give me a screenshot of your work. So for me, my screen capture software looks like a feather. Where's it at? Oh, there it is. So it's called Lightshot, and all I do is take a screenshot, bam, and I can drag across and then save an image. I'd like you to do that. I'm not really doing that right now, but just take a screenshot or a screen capture shot of the actual hello world inside of your Android Studio. After you follow the instructions, you'll see the first thing that comes up, and it looks basically like a phone. And it'll say hello world on it, as it would on the screen of your phone if you actually installed this application. And I'd like you to just give me a picture of that. If you can get the emulator to run, that would be fantastic for you to share an image of hello world on the emulator. Or if you run it on your phone, that would be the coolest thing to me. I love it when students send me a picture of their phone with apps running on them. That's a cool thing, and it's also fun for you to create an app that actually shows up on your phone, so you can do that with Hello World. But I want you to do that for me just to get feel for Android Studio. Okay, the big thing is I want you to understand what Hello World is, and Hello World is like this the most basic of basic programs. A lot of you, if you've done any kind of computer science stuff, you've run Hello World on some language or another. What I want you to do this week is create a Google Slides presentation, and Google Slides, when you go into your VCCS email account, you'll see that inside of your mail, you'll see a grid like this right up at the top, and you can click on that, and you will see a Google Slides icon come up. For some reason on this account, my Google Slides icon doesn't come up, but you just click on that to open up Google Slides, or you could even just type in Google, as long as you're logged in to your VCCS Google account, you could just type in Google Slides and click on Google where that comes up, and just go to Google Slides. You can do it that way, and pull up Google Slides to do your work. And I've already got a slideshow created, and it's right here, and your slideshow is going to be 5 slides. And the first slide is going to just be your title slide, Hello World Comparisons, because that's what this assignment is, and you'll put your name on there. And then I want you to put in 3 slides. And what those slides are going to be are examples of the Hello World program in multiple languages. So if you type in Java and Hello World into Google, then you probably will pretty quickly find, if you click around different sites, the actual code for Hello World in Java. Okay, I want you to copy that text and paste it into the slide. Okay, and I want you to do that for 3 different languages. So right here, I've recommended some languages. You could do Python, that's very popular, or Swift. That's the language, as we discussed, that you develop for iOS with. JavaScript, commonly used to give functionality to websites. Ruby, which I don't know if it's still in fashion the way it used to be, but Ruby's a pretty popular language. C++ or C Sharp or any of the C languages would be acceptable. If there are other languages that you're super interested in, then you might want to do that. Don't do HTML. Everybody thinks that'll work, and it won't. HTML is hypertext markup language. I guess you could kind of do Hello World in HTML, so maybe if you want to do that, I kind of prefer you didn't. But just pick a language or pick 3 of these languages, and then go on the internet and find the syntax of the Hello World program in that language, and then I want you to copy and paste that into 3 consecutive slides. So you have your title slide, then 3 examples of Hello World, and then your 5th slide, I want you to just put a paragraph in, and I want you to compare and contrast the differences in the 3 syntaxes as you notice them. Do you have a favorite? Does one look more difficult than the other? What are just some of your observations about the syntax of these languages? So create that in a slide presentation, and then what you'll do is you'll click the blue share button, and it'll give you a URL that you can share at. But before you do that, before you share, I want you to click on Advanced and make sure that you make the settings public on the web so that I can easily read your work. So set it to public on the web, and down here select Can Edit, so that if I want to edit your work a little bit, I can do that. Then click Save, and it's going to give you a URL that you can share your work with me at, and also you can type in my JGS281 at email.vccs.edu and hit enter, and then my picture will come up, and that'll tell you that you've shared it with me, and you click send. But I also want you to copy this URL and post that as text and upload it into Blackboard for me, so that I just have the link there, but also you can share it with me via this by clicking send. So I want you to share it with me both ways, but I definitely need it, the URL that you click and just copy and put that up in Blackboard for me so that I can check your work that way. All right. So that's your Hello World slide presentation that I'd like to get done for me. And the other thing we discussed was your Android Studio assignment to do the first example of Hello World inside of Android Studio. And then finally, I want you to understand what's happening with these languages, these different languages, and how they communicate with your computer. And all of these languages either go through something called a compiler or an interpreter. And in order for you to understand that better, I've posted a video for you that's a pretty good software explanation, or rather, software explanation for how does a compiler, an interpreter, and a CPU work. So your CPU is your central processing unit on your computer, and a compiler and an interpreter do fairly similar things. And essentially what they do is they take a higher form of computer language and they move it down into, and they translate it into a lower form of computer language. Because we talked before about how your computer understands zeros and ones. It's got transistors inside of it, and the transistors are either on or off. On is a 0, on is a 1, and off is a 0. That's very important. On is a 1, off is a 0, okay? And so that's how your computer understands zeros and ones. And different combinations of zeros and ones done in succession, those are comprehensible by your computer, and that's how you tell your computer to do things. Okay, so a compiler is what takes the Java, for example, that we use to communicate with Android applications. When we develop them, we type in Java, and I want to just understand how that works. And so you can watch this video, and I'd like you to respond to the video with maybe 100, 150 words. It's about a half a page. Okay. So I would like you to respond with that many words. And so that'll be your response to a video this week. And then sort of your hard project work will be creating and taking the screen capture of the Android Studio initial file with Hello World. And then the third assignment for you this week is your slide presentation, in which you're going to give me the Hello World program, which is just going to be a couple of lines of code. If you end up with, if you Google Python and Hello World and you find something that's a whole bunch of code, that's wrong. Okay, Hello World is a very simple program. It's like the simplest program, and you'll see that some languages require much less input than others to make that communication. That's one of the things I want you to understand. Okay, so you're just going to create those 3 slides, 3 different languages, and you will share that slide presentation with me. You will upload your response to the video in another assignment, and you will upload a picture or a screen capture shot of your Android Studio Hello World application on your screen or on your phone, and you'll upload that image to Blackboard, and that'll be our 3 assignments for this week. I'm going to make them do a week from Friday, so that you have about 10 days to get everything done, which is plenty of time for this. And everybody keep up the good work, and look forward to seeing your work from this week, and talking with you next week. Next week, by the way, our assignments will all be up on Monday, just like they usually are. Just had a crazy week this week, so we had to make some adjustments and post your assignments on Wednesday. Thank you very much, and enjoy app developing, everybody.